Good morning, everyone. From the last day here in New York City, we fly back out on Porter Airlines from New Jersey, which is over that way somewhere. So, the next part for our trip today is you can watch the city wake up underneath us. We were just over at Junior's for breakfast. Really great food over at Junior's. Finally found a really good restaurant here in the city of New York. But as you can see, as we just kind of look out, you can see people milling about and walking across the street and all that kind of stuff. This is Times Square right below us. The thing that leaves me as I step outside of New York City is by being here with other fellow realtors. There's now 20,000 of us. And all of us are, much like me, just entrepreneurial types of people who don't know how they're cobbling together their real estate business. They're just out there helping people one day at a time, whether that's helping other agents to help people or helping other people buy and sell houses. And that's the fun thing about what we've been able to build. And keep in mind that Real was never, ever going to survive. So everybody said, "Oh yeah, there's no way that they'll stay." Having one format, one playing field for everybody to be able to operate under. That doesn't work. Everybody wants to build their own thing, and you can build your own thing at Real. You just use the back office support to be able to do your transactions. That's all that it is. It's just transaction support. And you can build your practice however you wish to build your practice at Real. You can call yourself whatever you want to call yourself at Real. You can do whatever you wish to do. And then along the way, you also get shares of stock. So I own part of the company. Right now, I think I'm up to about 1,500 shares or so. And today, the company just crossed over the $1 billion threshold mark as well, too. $15.50 a share, and now it's back down to $15.20 because it varies throughout the day. $5.50, $5.20. The other thing to keep in mind, when a stock closes above $5 and stays there for a little bit of time, week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, then suddenly institutional investors can then come in and support the stock price. So hopefully, we've been above $5 a share before for short periods of time. Now that we have 20,000 advisors and growing very rapidly, hopefully that will support our stock price above $5 per share. And hopefully that brings in some institutional investors as well too into our shares. It just ends up lifting all boats. And so then my 1,550 shares that I own, or how many it is, 400, and it's about 50, I think it's about 1,500 shares. And every time I sell a house, they give me more shares. They're like, "Hey, Brian, thank you for helping us to become Real. So here's some additional shares." And I put some of my commission check towards shares as well too and buy them at a discount. So one of the fun things about being here is just that you gain an ownership stake in the brokerage. So I gain an ownership stake in the realtor that's working here in New York City, selling houses or selling condos or doing whatever it is that they otherwise do. I have a little bit of an ownership stake in their business as well too, because it all comes across the footprint. And when you have an ownership stake in your brokerage, then suddenly you also have an ownership stake in the business in Greeley, South Carolina. So that agent has reached out to me and said, "Brian, hey, what you're doing in the estates business, I would like to do that down here. Can you give me some hints, tips, ideas, and suggestions?" And of course, yes, because I also have an ownership stake in her success in Greeley, South Carolina. So that's one of the other things that's amazing about the culture, about the infrastructure here at Real, is that we have positions. in other people's businesses as well too. We want them to succeed. We want them to find whatever comfort level wherever they want to be in their real estate business. We want to help them to develop out that zone for them, because what's good for me might be completely different for somebody else. So like in the city of Windsor, I'm doing the estates business. I like to go and vacuum up mouse poop. It doesn't bother me at all. But another realtor may not want to go and vacuum up mouse poop. They might want to work in a different part of the market. And there's plenty of space for more people to work in this market. So at the end of the day, what I'm doing in Windsor is different than what somebody else might want to do in Windsor. And I can open up an office in the city of Windsor, and I can recruit other realtors and support other realtors in just a Windsor office as well too. I could open up an office in Greeley, South Carolina. I could open up an office anywhere that I wanted to open up an office at. I can, in essence, franchise myself just because I'm part of the real footprint. I could open up an office right here in New York City as well too. There's nothing to stop me from doing whatever I wish to do. And there were realtors that I was hanging out with here in New York who were talking about getting their Connecticut license and expanding because they're recruiting some Connecticut realtors, and they're like, maybe I need a Connecticut office now because they're 10 times or 20 times bigger than what I am. They might have 3 or 4 or 5 offices across the United States. And there's nothing to stop that from happening as well too if you wish to build that out. It's just you lose track of the day-to-day, helping people move. And I'm more of a day-to-day helping people move type of realtor rather than a, let me, fly into the Denver office, let me fly into the Waxahachie, Texas office, and coach and guide and teach realtors in those markets. It's not something that I want to do. I'm more of a on-the-ground kind of helping people move types of thing. And that's why I've eked out that footprint, and it's a comfortable footprint because I know what my market share is, the potential of my market share is in Windsor. And then, I could open up other offices doing the exact same thing. The model that I'm building out in Windsor could be transported to other areas, and I could open up other offices if I wished to as well too. The opportunity is limitless. And that's part of the whole recruiting part of, or attracting part of real is, hey, you own the brokerage, you can build up something of value for your future. I think I have about $18,000 worth of stock now after 2.5 years here. So it's not a whole heck of a lot, but it's something. And after I have 10 years here, how many shares of stock do I have, and what's the stock price actually physically worth by that point in time? So it's all of that is part of that whole real story. And when you think about how everybody said, oh, it would never work, what you're doing is not going to work, it's just too, it's not what people want. What's fun is how long we've lasted in celebrating that 10-year anniversary, and really realizing the backstory of each individual advisor in that room, and spending some time getting to know them to say, hey, what's your story? What's your backstory? And then sharing my backstory as well too. So that's part of the celebration here in New York. So from New York, we're getting ready to jump on the subway. We're gonna go and live a little. We're gonna jump on the subway to take the subway to the New Jersey subway to take the train to Newark's or wherever it is where the airport is that we're flying back out of, to jump on the Porter flight back into Windsor. So from sunny New York City here with no rain, it's hot here. We're going to be heading back home and probably heading towards rain, they say. So we'll go see what's going on out there. But from New York, have a great day. Enjoy it. And this is kind of tuning out. If you have any questions about the Windsor real estate market, the New York real estate market, all of the country's real estate market, don't hesitate to give me a call. I'll be able to find somebody that can be able to answer some of the questions that you might have about the Waxahachie, Texas real estate market. Who knows? 519-995-6145. My name's Brian, signing off. Have a great day. Bye-bye.